All right. So we are in the path of least resistance, reading the outline. Number 10, creativity is a skill. Creativity is a skill which can be learned and mastered just like anything else. It is not innate, something someone is born with. It takes practice and hard work to gain mastery. See the following as an overview of the creative process rather than a formula to adopt. 1, conceive of the result you want to create. I don't start until I'm almost entirely clear. It's a waste of time and paint if I don't. I've wasted a lot of canvases, so I like to be pretty clear. Georgia O'Keeffe. 2, knowing what you want is itself a skill. All right. 2, what currently exists. 1, must develop the skill of viewing reality objectively. Good, bad, or indifferent, you will still want to know accurately what's going on. 3, take action. 1, creating is a matter of invention rather than of convention. The more you create, the more chance you have to develop your own instincts. Some of the actions you will take will help you move directly to the result you want, but most will not. The art of creating is often found in your ability to adjust or correct what you have done so far. 3, it is not fortitude, willpower, or determination that enables you to continue the creative process, but learning as you go. 4, learn the rhythms of the creative process. 1, there are 3 major stages in the growth and life-building process: germination, assimilation, and completion. Every complete creative process moves through this cycle and always in the same sequence. The cycles are as natural and organic as the human birth cycle and have the same stages. Now they're going to explain all of those words. Germination occurs at conception. This is the prime initiating act from which the entire process emanates. Germination begins with excitement and newness. Partly, this germinational energy comes from the unusualness of the new activity. You activate the seeds of your creation by making choices about results you want to create. When you make a choice, you mobilize vast energies and resources that otherwise often go untapped. All too often, people fail to focus their choices upon results, and therefore their choices are ineffective. Choice takes practice, and the more you choose, the better you'll choose. Make small, quick choices whose outcomes have a low risk factor to practice. Making choices is vital, as art is improvisational. You make it up as you go along, with your instinct for making choices improving along the way. That's the clearest section in this thing I've ever read. Assimilation is akin to gestation, during which the fetus develops and grows. Completion occurs when the birth of this new human being takes place. Assimilation is often the least obvious phase of the process. In this phase, the initial thrill is gone. This phase moves from a focus on internal action to a focus on external action. In this phase, you live with your concept of what you want to create and internalize it. You begin to have insights, ideas, connections, and added momentum. Your creation begins to take shape. It becomes more and more tangible. It generates momentum so that as you move through the creative cycle of the path of least resistance emanating from structural tension is toward the result taking shape, forming itself, becoming an entity. Assimilation is a step beyond mere learning, for in assimilation, you incorporate the learning into yourself. You gain specific skills that you can learn and you can assimilate. Let me do this again. You gain specific skills that you can learn and you can assimilate whatever you need to know in any creative process. Whenever you assimilate a learning, you deepen your base of experience of assimilation. You can internalize future learnings. Professional actors become quicker and quicker at memorizing their parts. Musicians become more facile at performing difficult passages. Cab drivers learn new routes more quickly. One powerful way to assimilate your present step is to move on to your next step, often before you think you're ready. What you embody tends to be created. This principle provides the key to assimilation. Embodiment is distinct from behavior. To embody love is not the same as behaving in loving style. What you embody speaks louder than your behavior, to the same degree that your actions speak louder than your words. Furthermore, you assimilate what you embody. As you internalize what you embody, internal development occurs that is consistent with what you embody. All aspects of your consciousness realign themselves in accordance with what you embody. Assimilation, like embodiment, has two phases: an internalizing phase and an externalizing phase. What you create grows within you and eventually expresses itself outwardly as you give birth to that which you are creating. During the assimilation process, you mobilize inner and outer actions. This energy builds on itself so that the path of least resistance leads from internal to external expression. What you assimilate internally tends to be manifested externally. Internal changes often tend to be manifested outwardly. C. Completion has a similar energy to germination, but now it is applied to a creation that is more and more tangible. You bring your creation to completion, but also positioning yourself for your next creation. This stage leads to the germination of your next creation. Few people have mastered this stage. One experience is of fulfillment and satisfaction. The other common experience is of depression and loss. In the creative cycle, completion is a unique and separate stage and has its own requirements to be mastered. One of the major abilities of creating is the ability to receive the full fruits of your labor. When you are creating, you are the only one who is able to declare a result complete, for it is you alone who can determine when reality satisfies your vision. When you bestow an acknowledgement of completion, you enable the very special energy of completion to be released. One function of this energy is to propel you toward the germination of a new creative cycle. Each time you complete an act of creation, you focus a life force. And since life begets life, this energy seeks to enlarge and expand its expression through the new creation. In the stage of completion, your soul is ready for another act of And C, creating momentum. Many of the theories describing creativities these days have a tone of beginner's luck. For professional creators, there is a different tone, that of ever increasing momentum. But for professional creators, there is a different tone, that of ever increasing momentum. Not only is the creative process a reliable method for producing the results you want, it also contains seeds of its own development. For example, the more music Mozart wrote, the more he was able to write. His increasing experience gave him the momentum typical of the creative process. If you begin to create the results you want today, you are more prepared to create the results you want 10 years from now. Each new creation gives you added experience and knowledge of your own creative process. You will naturally increase your ability to envision what you want to create. 1, why learning is exponential, compounding on itself. The more you learn and create, the more you can learn and create. Wow.